Okay, like I said, tonight we're going to talk about a subject that I get questions about occasionally, and it's generally whenever there's a sale on one of these types of products out. I get quite a few questions whenever somebody releases one of them and it's popular and a lot of people are promoting it. But we're going to talk about done-for-you sales funnel systems, and sometimes they really are done-to-you sales funnel systems if the way some of them are designed. But we're going to talk about how done for you sales funnels are set up and what you need to look for if you're considering getting one. All right, to be successful in online marketing, everybody knows you must have a sales funnel. Without a sales funnel, all you can ever hope to achieve is just one-off sales. And a lot of people want to run their business, with just one-off sales, as they come across products or release products, just do one-off sales for them, announcements about them. But then most people that are really serious about setting up their online business, they want to set up a sales funnel so that it's automated, and as new people come in to their marketing funnel, they get sent through a progression of the products that they have for sale. That's the ultimate goal for most people, is to have some sort of a automated process of selling the products that they have. So let's talk about what is a sales funnel. Typically, a sales funnel is when you have an entry-level product, and it can be either free or paid, that leads to a succession of other products for sale. Now, I say that it can be either free or paid because they can be designed either way. You can have your entry-level product as a free product in that you're actually starting out with a squeeze page and building a list and giving somebody something for free to get them into your sales funnel. And at that point, you start exposing them to your products. And then you have the paid sales funnels where you start out with an entry level product and it goes through a succession of either other products that are for sale or upsells and downsells of that one marketing sale. And then sometimes the sales funnel is presented all at once through a series of upsells and downsells. Now we've all been through that, where you buy a product and then the next thing you get hit with is an OTO or an upsell, and then you have to make a decision on whether you want to purchase that or not. And if you decide to, sometimes it'll lead to another upsell, or sometimes it'll take you on to the delivery. And then sometimes if you say you don't want the upsell, it'll take you to a downsell, which is usually the same upsell, but with something changed about it, something taken away from it to make it more affordable. And then sometimes it's the exact same upsell, just at a cheaper price. Just depends on how they've decided to set it up. But we've all been through that typical sales funnel there, where you go through it during the sales process. And then sometimes the sales funnel is revealed to you through an email sequence. And then we've all been through these as well, where you'll buy an entry-level product, and then later, after registering for their mailing list, that you'll get sent promos about other products they have for sale in their sales funnel. And these are all usually timed out and sequenced where you get them, so many days apart or so. And it's usually a campaign that's set up, and they can run anywhere from 7 days to sometimes a year. I have one campaign that I have set up, it runs for a full year, and I have various ones in between that. And then sometimes they can be both the immediate and the time sequence sales funnels. Now you'll notice that typically on products that are promoted a lot by other affiliates, where there'll be a front end product that's sold, and then there'll be the upsells and downsells, and then you're put into a time sequence to get other products later. And like I said, most of the time when you see this type of sales funnel set up, it's when the initial product that you're buying is being promoted by a lot of affiliates. Because one way to get a lot of affiliates to promote your products is to first off have a good front end offer that they're going to make 100% commissions on, and then have good upsells and downsells where they'll make 50% commissions on those, whether it be just one-time commissions or residual commissions. But generally those that are completed like this, that have both the immediate and the time sequence, they're usually really long drawn out sales funnels that can take quite a while to get through the whole complete funnel. But either way, a properly executed sales funnel can bring in, on average, about 30 to 50% more in sales volumes. Now we're talking about actual sales, not the amount of money that you can make from a sales funnel, but the actual amount of sales. A good rule of thumb with an immediate sales funnel, which is the one where you buy the front end product and then you get the upsells and downsells offers. A good rule of thumb with those is the vendor is usually shooting for a 30 to 50% conversion on the upsell, and then a 20 to 30% conversion on the downsell if somebody would happen to turn down the upsell product. But all in all, like I said, these average out, if you do have these on the initial entry level into your sales funnel, it'll increase your sales an average of 30 to 50% just by having those extra upsells and downsells. And then possibly you can earn hundreds to, if not thousands of dollars of extra revenue, depending on, the items that are in the funnel and what they sell for. And if they have residual products in it that, are paid monthly or are broken up into payments, this can easily go up into the thousands of dollars of extra revenue that you can make with a sales funnel. But regardless of how the sales funnel is structured, it needs to be automated. That's the one key thing that everybody wants in a sales funnel, is for it to be automated. In other words, you want it for it to, when somebody goes into the entry point, whether it be through free or paid, for the system that you have set up to take over and send the prospect through the succession steps to the other products that you have for sale. And automation is usually achieved through either linking the thank you pages. This is in the case of the upsells and downsells, where you'll make a purchase and it'll link to another upsell, and then if you turn that one down, it links to a downsell. Or it can be done through the email sequence in an autoresponder campaign. That's the two ways that a sales funnel is automated, through either linking the pages together through the initial prospect getting into the sales funnel, or through the email sequence in an autoresponder campaign. Now, being as such, sales funnels can be complicated to set up and organized for smooth flow through the sales process. This is where a lot of people fail in their product launches, is where they don't have people test their sales flow process, and they find that there's a kink in the plan somewhere that stops the sales flow from completing like it should. And sometimes it's so messed up that the person that's making the purchase can't even get to the products that they purchased from you, and that's when you have a real problem, is when they can't get to the end page to finally get to what they've purchased. And you see this a whole lot over on the Warrior Forum in the WSO section, because most of the people there, I would say a good 80% of them, they don't really have a plan set up on how they're going to market their products, and they just threw something up together, and they may have tested a little bit themselves and it worked for them. And what a lot of them don't realize is that they may have those pages on their hard drive and they're clicking on them and going through them and it works, but when you actually put it on a web server, it could be that those hyperlinks are linked to an actual file structure that's on their hard drive and not an actual file structure that's on a website. So that's where a lot of them will break, and when they find out, that the links that they created don't work. So, it's a good thing to do when you're setting up a sales funnel, is to have somebody else that's not been involved with the setup of it at all to go through it, even if you have to go through and lower the purchase price of each one to 10 cents or $1, just so somebody can get through the whole sales flow process, just so you can verify that everything's working correctly. Now, sometimes no matter what you do, you're going to have some problems, and that's the nature of the beast when you're dealing with servers and the internet. Sometimes things are going to happen, and sometimes the affiliate network where you're actually making the sales through can have a problem. For instance, years ago, when Warriors Plus was the only choice we had for WSOs, whenever somebody launched a WSO that was getting tons of sales, it would take down the Warriors Plus servers, and sales couldn't be processed or people couldn't get to the actual download pages. They have beefed up their servers and kind of overcame that. They don't happen as often anymore. It still does occasionally happen, but not as often. When JVZoo came on the scene in 2010, they went through the same growing pains. Their network wasn't set up to handle the traffic on, really high traffic product launches. And then sometimes the systems themselves are maybe not set up to work with all the software that some people run on their websites. And most of the time this would be where the products that you're delivering are through a secured membership site or a secured area on your website. Maybe, the software they have doesn't talk back with it and, verify the sales, and sometimes that causes problems. But sometimes it can be really complicated to set these up, and sometimes even just setting up simple ones where you're linking to the pages, like I said, can be, a chore for some people, especially if you're not familiar with HTML or images or how web servers work and that kind of thing. And that's why the term done for you sales funnels was conceived. A lot of marketers saw the need for creating packages of sales funnels for people that all they had to do was go in and plug in some of their information and upload it to their websites, and then they'd have a complete automated sales funnel. And over the years, there has been probably thousands of done for you sales funnels that's been launched. It seems like every month there's at least one or two that come out where somebody says they have a done for you package of a sales funnel. So it's quite common now to see those, whereas a few years ago you didn't hardly see many of them at all, but now they're quite common to see these sales funnels that are what they call done for you. Now, the typical done for you sales funnel contains all the pages and all the emails needed for an autoresponder series. Depending on which method of delivery is used for delivering of the access to the product that was purchased, or the introduction of the other products that are in the sales funnel, which method they may go. In either case, there's always going to be sales pages involved in it that need to be linked to each other in some form or fashion. Even if it's done through the autoresponder series, there's going to be some sales pages involved in it that need to be linked to in some way or fashion. Now, a lot of times these sales funnels will actually contain the actual downloadables, and then sometimes they can just be linked to on another website. It just depends on the actual vendor when he created the sales funnel, whether he wants to make it easier on himself and just host the downloads for you and let you link back to them and your customers download from his servers or not. And sometimes they do it that way just so they can get an opt-in to their mailing list as well. In addition, to you getting an opt-in, they get one too by them hosting the downloads. So that has its good points and bad points. The good points to it would be, you don't have to worry about some of these huge bulky downloads and having to take up disk space on your website. And then, it can be easier for somebody else to have the downloads linked on a download page for you. But then it has its drawbacks too, in that if it's a vendor that you're not familiar with, or he's not, he's new to the scene, it may be that this process doesn't work out for him, and then he would decide to give up on it because he's not making enough money or getting enough list signups or whatever out of it. And then the website could go away and all the download links would be bad. And that could be a bad thing if that was to happen. If you had a download page that was linking to somebody else's website and they let their domain name expire, or they decided, that it wasn't working out for them, they decided to cancel their web hosting account. You really, in my opinion, you're better off if you can host the download yourself. That way you know the customer is going to have access to the downloads, even though it can be more trouble to have to deal with uploading some of the huge files and making sure that the links are linked correctly. In my opinion, it's better to host the download yourself if you can, unless, like I said, you know who you're getting the package from, they're not going anywhere, and that you can always contact them if should there be a problem. And there are some people you know they're not going to go away, so you know in some cases it won't be a problem. But often the term done for you is misused, and that's what we want to talk about next, is how some packages are called done for you that are not really as done for you as you would think they are. Sometimes the sales funnel package is really done for you in that the vendor will set it up for you for a fee, and they'll set everything up for you. Now, there's several of them that you can get like that, where they'll actually go through the whole sales funnel process of setting everything up for you. They'll start out from uploading the initial pages to your website, and then actually setting up your autoresponder accounts for you. And some of them I've even seen will actually go into the affiliate marketplaces and set up your product listings. There's a couple of marketers that will actually do that for you as well. But most of the time, the done for you means that the vendor has created all the pieces of the sales funnel, but it's left up to you to put it into place. That's going to be the most common occurrence of a done for you sales funnel. And what they're really meaning by that is that they've done all the work in creating the pages and the emails and the sequence, but then it's left up to you to actually implement it and put it all into place. Most of the time when you see this, if it's at all possible, if they're willing to do it, they'll offer a setup service, and usually it's for an additional fee. Occasionally you'll see where somebody has a done for you service where it includes the setup fee. It's rare to see that, but sometimes it does happen where somebody will actually include the setup in the purchase price for the sales funnel that you're buying. Now, let's talk about what to look for in a done for you sales funnel. This is one of the questions that I get quite a bit is a done for you sales funnel worth buying? All right, these are the things that you want to look for. First off, you want to look at the front end offer and determine whether it's high quality enough. You want to look to see if it has a well-designed squeeze page, if it's in the case of a free front end offer, or in the case of a paid front end offer, that there's some sort of a squeeze page in there somewhere where you can collect, people and put them on your buyers list. You want to look at the sales page, make sure it's captivating enough, that it's appealing to you, and that it's well designed and thought out, and that it has a good flow to it, and just general overall the impression of it when you look at it looks professional and something that you might be interested in yourself if somebody were to send you to it. And then optionally, if they come with it, you want to look at the upsell and the downsell pages and make sure that they're relevant to the initial front end offer. In other words, you don't want a sales funnel that the front end offer is for one type of product, but then the sales pages and the upsells and the downsell pages are about something totally different. In other words, there's no congruency between the two. And another good thing to look for when you're looking at these upsell and downsell pages is the congruency, that they kind of resemble each other. That helps a lot in making sales, in that if every page you go to kind of has the same theme and template to it and look to it, that you feel like you've not left the website. And then the last thing you want to look at is you want to see that it has a well-designed download and thank you page. You want to see that on the download and the thank you page, whichever one they decide to call it, that the product is easy to find on it and it's linked good, whether it be through your actual upload yourself, or if it's hosted somewhere else, that the links are actually working. Another good thing to look for on these download and thank you pages is there's a section in there to add optional bonuses to it, because that's one way you can gain more traffic, is having bonus ads on the download and the thank you pages, that you do bonus ad swaps with other marketers. That helps a lot in bringing new prospects into your sales funnels by having those bonus ad swaps that you do with other marketers. Now, it may be that you can add those for not on there, if there's not a section in there, depending on how the website is designed, whether you can do that or not through an HTML editor, if it's in the case of WordPress. if it's easily editable for you to be able to add that section in, or if it's not already in there. But that's something you do want to look at, because even your front end, the person that goes through and just all they get is just the front end, you want, when they get to the download and the thank you page, for them to be other opportunities there for them to be able to get other things, whether they be, other products that you have, or like I said, you're exchanging bonus ads with another marketer to try to help, get more sales through an exchange like that. And then depending on the type of sales funnel, you want to look at the additional product sales pages and download pages that come with them. And this is in the case of a sales funnel where it has multiple products in it. You want to make sure, that all of the sales pages and the download pages, are just as equally as good as the first one, the initial one that you're launching. And you also want to look at the types of products too, and make sure that they're pretty much related to each other in some way. Now, it can be in a broad relation, but you don't want it to be something totally different. In other words, if it's, say, something to do with weight loss, you want all the products to be somewhat related to dieting or weight loss or recipes or something in some form or fashion. You don't want something that, say it's a weight loss product and then they go to an internet marketing sales page, because that's totally different niches, and you never make good congruent sales by jumping from one niche to the next like that. And like I said, they can be kind of in a broad sense related to each other. They don't have to be tightly related to each other, although it helps. If the tighter they are related to each other, the more it's going to help with making, initial sales on the first instance of somebody going into the sales funnel. But they don't have to be extremely tight related, just as long as they're at least in the same niche, and it's along the same topic. It can be, somewhat of a different subtopic, but as long as it can be related back to the initial product in some way. And of course, any decent sales funnel should have all of the necessary emails for delivery confirmation and or the introduction of the other products in the funnel. That's pretty much a prerequisite with all of them, to at least have the two emails that it's required, the thanking them for joining the list or making the purchase, and then another email that shows them how to get to their downloads. You at least have to have those two emails, but most of them contain more than that, especially if they're depending on the autoresponder series to deliver the rest of the funnel. There should be several emails that come with it. And of course, you want to look at these emails to see how well they're written as well, and if there's a possibility of maybe injecting your own personality into those emails in some way, because that can help a lot in making sales if you can personalize them in some way, and put your own personalization in there to the emails follow with the same scheme of how you generally send out and write the rest of your emails for your other campaigns. Let's see, we've got a question here. Dana says, do you get to see these before buying? In some cases you will, Dana, and any of the good sales funnels, they will show you the full sales funnel of what it's like before you purchase it. A good vendor will do, sometimes they'll even have actual live pages where you can go look at the page, what it would look like inside of a browser. But if nothing else, they have screenshots that you can see, so you can look at the different parts of the sales funnel. That's one of the things we'll talk about here in a minute, is being able to see the sales funnel before you purchase it. Okay, and like I said, all those things we just talked about are necessary to complete the automation of a sales funnel. You have to have all of those pieces, and you have to have all those pieces set up and in the proper sequence and tested to make sure the automation of the funnel works. Because that's the whole goal, is you want to have a sales funnel where you lead somebody into the funnel and then the system takes over from there and handles the rest of it for you. Now, you're obviously going to have some sort of support somewhere down the line in case somebody has problems. There's, like I was talking about in the very beginning, no matter how well you set things up, there's always going to be something that can go wrong, whether it be your website, web server has a problem, or the affiliate network has a problem, or somebody browser crashes or whatever, but you always want to have some sort of support mechanism in place for people, that do have problems, or if there is problems that happen, that's outside of your realm, but at least people will be able to contact you and you can get them started back in the place where they need to be. Now, here's the key thing about sales funnels. Above all, the products in the sales funnel must be evergreen. If the products in the sales funnel are not evergreen, it's not a sales funnel that you're going to be able to set up and let it be a set and forget sales process for you. I've seen a lot of sales funnels that are sold where the products are initially upon launch, good products that can be sold, but then as the time goes on, they get outdated or they stop working in the case of, having maybe software or teachings in it that, what they're teaching about the methods change. So that's one of the key things you want to look for, is make sure that the products in the funnel are evergreen, because that's what you want, is a sales funnel that you can set up once, and as long as nothing changes, you can just continue to send people into the front end of the funnel and have them go through the whole process and know that each part is still a viable product for them to be able to purchase, no matter what day or time of the year or even what year it is for them to go into this sales funnel. Now, in case you're wondering, maybe you're new to this and you don't understand what evergreen is. A product is evergreen when its functions or its training can always be used for used an indefinite amount of time. In other words, it's a product that no matter when you use it, it's always going to be relevant to the current situation of whatever the product is about. In the case of ebooks, it's an ebook that talks about something that that pretty much not going to change. I mean, things change somewhat over the years, but pretty much the basics stay the same. But things that are really specific, they have a real high chance of changing, and then that product becoming, invalid and outdated, not being able to be in a sales funnel at that point. And then at that point, you would need to exchange it for something. These are some examples of products that might not be good for a sales funnel. Products that teach about SEO hacks and tricks are typically not evergreen. Anything dealing with SEO, you really have to be careful with it, because SEO, which stands for search engine optimization, in case you don't know, changes so much. In fact, it changes more than we actually even hear about. We hear about the major changes, but it actually changes more than we even hear about. So anything involving SEO hacks or tricks is, pretty much not going to be evergreen. Neither are products that teach about video marketing ranking, because video marketing is another thing that pretty much changes on a weekly basis, if nothing else. I mean, it probably changes more than we hear about, but we only hear about the major changes. Software products can sometimes become non-usable, especially if they're related to SEO ranking and backlinking. You have to be really careful with software too, in that sometimes the software can become outdated as operating systems update. A lot of the older software products that were released, back in the early 90s and early 2000s, they still function as far as what they were meant to do. They're, some sort of a training, have, either articles or videos in them, but the software itself won't run on newer operating systems. So you run into that as well, that sometimes, the changes in, computer hardware and software can make software products go out of date and non-usable. But especially in the case of where it's performing some sort of a function, and like I give the example here, boosting SEO ranking or backlinking, those things are really volatile and apt to change. Like I said, a software product can work great this week and then next month not work at all. And depending on what they teach, anything related to social networking sites can become outdated as well, especially if they're showing a step-by-step process of how to do something inside of a social network. We all know how Facebook pretty much changes everything they do on what seems like a daily basis, although it's not really daily, but it seems like it is. But anything that follows a step-by-step process, the interface can change. They can upgrade their interface on the social network site, or they can maybe take out something. In the case, a good example of that is the Facebook fan pages. A lot of the products that are out there today that are for sale on Facebook fan pages are outdated and unusable because they've changed fan pages so much now that they're nothing like they used to be when they first started with them. So a lot of the products that are about Facebook fan pages, they're worthless to us now because you can't do a lot of the functions that they talk about. Also, social network sites change in that they may get bought out by somebody else. A good example of that is Squidoo. Squidoo got bought out, and now it's totally changed in how you put up a Squidoo lens. In fact, it now redirects to the website they were bought out by. So, products like that change as well, in that, if a site would happen to get taken over by somebody else, they can totally change the interface in it, which would make a social networking product, outdated really quickly. So you kind of have to be careful with those. Now, anything that just teaches you the general use of a social network, some of the etiquettes and some of the things you can do to build relationships and things like that, those could probably stay, in tune for several years to come. Like the product that I just released last month in December, it's the basics of getting started with Facebook and Pinterest and Twitter and LinkedIn. It doesn't tell exactly step by step how to do anything. It just tells people how to get their account started out right there and how to start building relationships. Now, that type of product can last for years. But now, if I were to create a product where I told them how to get a particular thing done inside of Pinterest or Facebook or Twitter, that might not last but 6 months or a year at the most, and then they would change their interface, and then that product would be invalid at that point. So when the products in the sales funnel are about social networking sites, you kind of have to look at them really closely and see, if it is something that's only going to be current for the current point in time when you've bought the sales funnel, or if it's something that you're going to be able to, pretty much let it live because it is somewhat evergreen. Even though social network sites change quite a bit, a product can still be somewhat evergreen in that, if it teaches the basics of how to do something instead of step by step or to the exact of features that they talk about in a social network site. Got a question here. Patricia says posterous or posterous, ever how you want to pronounce that, is another good example of something that got bought out and disappeared. Yep, exactly. And I loved that site. It was one of the easiest ways for aggregating posts across several social networks, and it was free to use. I hated it when that happened, but yeah, that's a great example of something that can happen with social networking sites. And actually, the same thing can happen with WordPress plugins in two different aspects. One, the social networking site can change something about their APIs or their interface, and the plugin quit working, or WordPress can do an update that would kill the plugin, and that happens a lot. In that a vendor will come out with a plugin that works for the current version of WordPress, and then WordPress comes out with a new version, and the plugin quits working. And if it's not a product that the vendor keeps updated, well, then that plugin becomes unusable, and you can't market it any longer. So you kind of have to be careful with WordPress related things too when it's involving social network sites. Now, let's talk about how to decide if a done for you sales funnel is worth buying or not. This is the question I get the most, is when somebody has released one of these, that several people are promoting. I get questions from some of my subscribers asking me if the product is worth buying. And I'll just tell you right up front, I buy a lot of done for you sales funnels, and not so much that, I may be interested in setting up that sales funnel that I purchased, but I like to see how other people have their sales funnels set up. It's a learning process for me to buy a sales funnel and see how somebody has set up their sales funnel. Now, sometimes the sales funnel is good and worth using, and I'll set it up, but I'll buy a lot of them just for the educational standpoint, just to see how somebody is doing their sales funnel, in that, they may be doing something that, I wasn't aware of, or something new. And, I use it as a learning tool in setting up my own sales funnels. But let's talk about some of the things you should look for when you're considering buying a sales funnel. One, you want to see if you can get a look at the complete sales funnel. Dana asked this question a minute ago about, do you ever get to see the sales funnel? And that's one of the things you want to be able to see is the complete sales funnel. A vendor that's not willing to show you the sales funnel, even if it's just screenshots, I would be leery of purchasing the sales funnel. There's probably something in there that they're keeping hidden from you, and if they don't want you to see the complete sales funnel, then I would be leery of making a purchase of it. The number two thing is you must look at the types of products that are in the sales funnel. We talked about this a minute ago where the products need to be somewhat congruent and in the same niche. You want to be sure that all the products are related to each other in the sales funnel. And again, you want to look at the products themselves and see what type they are. If it's a sales funnel that's heavily on software products, you want to make sure that those softwares are something that is going to be able to run for a long period of time, and that they perform like they should and with the current operating systems. You want to fully understand what you're purchasing. Now, this is the question I get the most about done for you sales funnel. They don't understand exactly what they're purchasing, and sometimes on the sales pages for these sales funnel packages, it is kind of hard to decipher what you are purchasing. I've had people that purchased a done for you package, and it turns out to be one of the packages where, like I said, the most of them what you buy is just everything's pre-made and you got to assemble it yourself on your own websites and autoresponder. And the person purchased it thought that it was going to be somebody actually setting the funnel up for them because they didn't fully understand what they were buying. And then sometimes it's just the opposite. Somebody buys a sales funnel and it's somebody that's going to actually do the setup for them, but they don't want that done. And they get to the end of the sales process and is asking for their domain name and their cPanel logins, and they're not willing to give that up. Which that's not such a big problem when you run into one like that where you find out it was somebody selling you a product they're willing to set it up for you, because you can always contact their customer support. And depending on what's actually in the sales funnel, I'm not saying it's always possible, but 99% of the time it is. You can contact them, tell them you want to do it yourself if if that's be the case, that you didn't want somebody else doing it for you. But you really want to understand what you are purchasing, and it could be that there's parts of the sales funnel that aren't included that that should be there. So when you're considering purchasing a sales funnel, really read read every bit of the sales page, so that way you fully understand. And if there's any question, well, then it's not your fault because you did read it. Most people, when they go to sales pages, they read the headline, some of the sub headlines, the bullet points, and they skip right down to the buy button. And if it's something that they feel like they can afford, they're buying it, and they don't even know what they're buying. When you're buying a sales funnel, you want to make sure that you know what you're getting, because you could be buying something that's really complicated and you can't set it up, and you're going to pay somebody big money to set it up for you, or pay the upgrade fees to get the vendor to set it up for you. So you want to know what you're getting before you hit that buy button. And like I said, most of the time it involves just fully reading the sales page. Occasionally, like I said, those sales pages might be a little confusing and you don't understand it, and that's when we're in. If you run across one like it where you have thoroughly read it and you still don't understand what you're getting, it's time to ask questions either from the vendor or somebody else that is either purchased it, or somebody else that maybe could look at the sales page and help you figure out what you're getting. And then ultimately, the cost of the sales funnel itself. Good sales funnels are not going to be cheap. I can tell you that right up front. Now, occasionally you'll see exceptions to this for somebody running a sale, a good quality sales funnel, but it's on sale. And then you'll see sales funnels that's been out for a while that they've been discounted, but they're still good sales funnels to have. They've just been discounted because they've been out for a while, because maybe they've come out with a newer one, or maybe they've discontinued selling sales funnels. There are exceptions to getting good sales funnels really cheap, but for the general rule of thumb, if you're buying a sales funnel and it's really, really cheap, you need to really look at it and see what you're getting, because you might not be getting what you think you're getting. Especially if you're buying one over on the Warrior Forum. I'd be really leery of what you're getting over there and really fully understand what you're getting before you hit that buy button over on the Warrior Forum. We got another question here. Wall says the Warrior Forum is full of marketers promoting WordPress plugins of a low one-off price that then breaks within a year and they no longer support their product, which becomes useless. Yeah, that's really typical on the Warrior Forum when you buy plugins over on the Warrior Forum. And what most people don't know about the Warrior Forum is it's really a testing ground for if a product is viable to continue on with or not. A lot of marketers will launch a WordPress theme or a plugin over on the Warrior Forum just to see if there's enough buzz and sales that can be generated about it, so they can decide whether they want to continue on with the product and fully develop it into, the version 2 or something with more features, or if they're even going to, maybe flip the thing after a while to somebody else that's, just going to buy it just to make some more additional sales and then eventually quit selling it. But you see that a lot over on the Warrior Forum where products are being tested. A good majority of the products you buy over on the Warrior Forum that are plugins and themes are still in beta. They're not really fully tested out in the real world. They may have been tested on a few people's WordPress sites and they got it to work, but they've not been tested out in the general mass where lots of things can go wrong. You'll see a lot of that over on the WSO section where things are just really just to the point where they can be released. They're not finished at all, and they're just really fishing to see if there's really a market for it. So that's our presentation. What I want to do now is I want to show you guys some live examples of sales funnels and what to look for in these sales funnels, and hopefully it'll help you to understand what to look for when you're considering purchasing one. We're going to go over some that's been out for several years and some that have just recently been launched, but we're going to go over several of them here. So let's end the presentation here and we'll go to some websites that I have queued up here. Okay, the first one I want to show you here is a membership site that's a done-for-you membership site. This is one of Aaron Danker's products, and as you can see, if you scroll down through here, it shows what all you get in his product, and it talks about the various parts of it. Now, I don't have the complete back end set up for this, or I'd show you guys the back end of it, but this is actually delivered through a time sequence of autoresponder emails, the various sections in it. So this is a good example of a quality done-for-you sales funnel on a membership site. Now the next one I want to show you, this is a software sales funnel. Again, this is another one of Aaron Danker's products, where these are 10 softwares that are actually 10 mini sales funnels. And on this page, he shows you the complete sales funnel and everything that's included in it and what each one of them does. So then this particular package here, what you're getting is 10 different softwares that have many sales funnels set up in them. And like I said, in any sales funnel you're considering, if they'll show you screenshots or actual web pages, that's what you want to look for. And in this one, that's what Aaron does. He shows you the exact sales funnel process of each one of the softwares. So this is another example of a good laid out sales page for a sales funnel that's worth buying. Now this, like I said, this is a software based one. The software's been out for probably 2 or 3 years, but it doesn't have any problems with the latest Windows updates. So this is still a viable product that somebody can sell. And then this next one is again an example of a membership site that's a done-for-you sales funnel, and in it, if I can get this thing to scroll, it actually shows you the various lessons and screenshots of the lessons so you can see exactly what your sales funnel looks like. Again, this is another one that's delivered through both web pages and email autoresponder sequence. Um, Again, like I said, this is one that shows you exactly everything you're getting. So if you took the time to read this sales page, you'd know exactly what you're getting with this one. And then the one here I want to show you, this is everybody I know has seen this sales funnel. This is this is actually if you ever send me an email and I reply back to email, this is one that I link to on the I guess you call it a signature on emails. This is the one I link to that it's called Set Up My Products, and what it actually is the Mega Money System done for you sales package. And this has been out for several years, probably started in 2010. This is again another Aaron Danker product, and he's updated it a couple of times, and the current version of it is, I think, 2013, has products from 2013, but they're all evergreen products in it. And this is a complete sales funnel in that you get the squeeze page up front, which is this is one that leads with a free product up front, and it goes through I think 37 different emails is what you get with the package, and it auto imports into your Aweber account. It is set up to work with Aweber the best. I don't think there's an auto import into GetResponse with it, but Aaron also sells, a complete setup system for you. If you don't feel like you can set this up, he'll actually set it up for you. And I think it's only like $30 more, $30 or $40 more for actually to have one of his staff set this completely up for you. But this is a great example of an evergreen sales funnel. I mean, this product originally came out in 2010 or so. It's been updated a couple of times, and like I said, the last update I know was done to it, as far as I know, was in 2013, and it's still an evergreen product. And this is a great done-for-you sales funnel that is fairly cheap. You can actually, in some places, find this sales funnel in membership sites, in PLR membership sites. So it may be, even if you don't want to, buy it directly from Aaron, you can still find it in some PLR membership sites. Now, it might be one of the older versions that you might need to, change a few of the emails or whatever, and of course you definitely have to set it all up yourself. Getting it from a PLR membership site, there's not going to be any setup service for you getting it that way. But this is a great example of an evergreen sales funnel that you can set up. Aaron done a really good job with this, and like I said, it's been one of his best-selling products since he released it. Now the next one I want to show you, this is an older sales funnel. This one is created by Henry Gold, and this is a complete done-for-you sales funnel, but it's done for you in the fact that all of the pages and the emails are set up, but you've got to piece every bit of it together yourself. I bought this probably 2 years ago. I know it's been at least 2 years ago. And it's been updated, so it's out of date or anything. I think it was version 2. He's calling it XM System 3.0 now, and when I first bought it, it was XM System 2.0. And he's changed some of the training in it. This comes with some training showing you how to market it and that type of thing. But as you can see, as we scroll down through here, it tells you every one of them set up my product number 8, all the way up to, I think this one has 37 products in it. Yeah. Has 7 squeeze pages and 37 products, but not a bit of it's done for you. There is no service to purchase to get it done for you either. This is something where you're just given the product and you've got to set it up yourself. And of course, he does give you tutorials on how to set it up, but it does require you have some technical skills to be able to do this yourself. But this is a great example of a sales funnel that's on the verge of being a little complicated to set up, I guess. If you took it piece by piece, did it step by step, which is, what he tries to lead you through this training is doing, piece at a time. If you did it like that, it's not so bad. But if you wanted to get this set up really quick, it would take quite a bit of time for you to spend setting this sales funnel up. And I've got this set up somewhere. I don't know which autoresponder sequence I have it set up on, but I have it set up somewhere. And I probably need to look back through it again, and especially at the squeeze pages, and make sure they're still up to date. Because sometimes squeeze pages change, and they become less and less effective, which is another thing you need to look at when you're purchasing a sales funnel, is the actual design of the squeeze pages, because things change in the layouts and what people will respond to. So you kind of have to pay attention to squeeze pages in themselves, that when they first put them up, they're brand new to everybody. Nobody's seen that type of squeeze page before, so they're going to convert really, really high. But then as time goes on, new methods and technologies come out that the squeeze page don't become as effective and can actually hurt your opt-ins. So I need to find out where I've got this set up and go back through it and see if I need to do some updating to it. But this is a great example of it's a complete sales funnel. I mean, to the best I remember, it starts out with $10 products and goes all the way up to products that sell for $297. So, it's a great sales funnel, but it is really, really on the verge of being too complicated for a newbie to set up, unless, like I said, you've got a little bit of technical skills and you're willing to take the time to go through it piece by piece and not jump around and try to get something going really quick. This is the type of sales funnel that would take you a good 5 to 7 days to set up in the minimum. It'd take you 5 to 7 days to set this one up completely. I think, yeah, that's the last one I had. Roy's asking, do most done-for-you products come with PLR so you can change them and make them unique? No, not necessarily. I've seen a lot of done-for-you sales funnels that come with products that can't even be changed at all. Some of them come with pages that can't even be changed, other than putting on your payment buttons. You get back into that with the rights of the individual products and what you're allowed to change in some of them. For instance, the Mega Money emails. I know there's PLR versions of it out there, but there's also versions of it out there that where you just have the rights just to sell the products. Um, but there is versions of it out there that are PLR. But no, just because it's done for you doesn't mean that it's going to be PLR and you can change everything in it. Now, when we talked about last week in our training about the master resale rights, a lot of times, and this is pretty much the majority of the time, vendors will allow you to change the sales page to try to make it unique so it looks different from a standpoint of everybody else that would have that same package. And a lot of times, like I said last week, they'll allow you to do that so that you can hopefully get, some search engine ranking and, that kind of thing out of it. And it does help, like I said, if you can change the headlines and stuff to make them different and unique from what everybody else has seen. Because after a product's been out for so long and so many people have seen it, people do kind of turn a blind eye to it if they've seen it over and over again and know it's something they're not interested in it. But if you can make a change to the headline or the color scheme, or if they got some different graphics that you can use, change it up a little bit, you can maybe catch somebody's attention enough to let them, read it again and then decide whether they want to purchase the product or not. But in fact, I would say most of the done-for-you sales funnels you get are probably not going to be PLR. There's going to be quite a few that will be, but for the most part, most of them are not PLR.